Yep. All right. So there's a question on like how to make bubbles. How we would make bubbles for like moving up. So we kind of use motion paths for stuff like this. It's really simple, and we can actually start to. I'm gonna make a cube, and the idea is that everything's going to be in positive z. So I'm gonna duplicate that. And I just want to make sure my deformer, I think it's this way, but I'm not 100%. But we're going to art direct this. And I'm just going to kind of make a couple of them. Maybe we'll duplicate a couple of these. Something like that. So we've got like this path of bubbles essentially, and I'm going to group them. And as long as they're in origin, this should work pretty nicely. So I'm going to attach this to our motion path. And then we have something called a flow path object. Okay, so I did do it the opposite way. So this is the fun part. I'm just going to have this times equal -1, and it actually just flips it all. So we've got like, let's scale this thing up. And you can see it's kind of like ghetto because it's kind of doing this weird like split and move. So what we can do is we can actually select the whole thing. And under flow path object, we change this from object to curve. And this gives us actually a lot of deformers on this path. And we can see like the normals are flipping on the curve. So it's doing a little funky stuff. But it's essentially a lattice that's going over this entire thing. So we can actually have this. Let's flip this. I know how I want to do this, but it's going to be a little annoying. I mean, while we have it, we can kind of see it's going to like squeeze through. So you could use this to make like Erlenmeyer flasks and stuff, like the mad scientist stuff, because this can just go through like tubes and go through other things. And like, because the way these things are all animated, you can still also have like a little bit of jiggle in there on these smaller ones. Do a little deform jiggle, so that like they're also going to like move and kind of shift around. Maybe make the jiggle much less. So they're going to do a little bit of movement, a little bit of stuff in there. And then maybe bring that all down quite a bit. I just don't want it to go a little too crazy. But like as it kind of moves, there is going to be a little bit of extra movement. Maybe we'll scale the whole thing down a little bit. So that's starting to give us like this little free jiggle. We'll do like 5. Yeah. And then we can just assign ourselves like a material for it. So we assign a. I'm going to use the blend for this. Just make it transparent using a ramp. Perfect. And make sure that this guy in our hypershade starts to use our sampler info. Using that facing ratio to plug directly into our B coordinate. So that starts to give us our pretty good transparency. So we can start to dial that in. Just kill that too, actually. Get our Fresnel in there, and then our shader. Now, at this point, we could also just add in another rainbow, and then I'm going to have that rainbow use the same Fresnel facing ratio. And let's add a little bit of noise and make sure this guy goes to red at the end. So actually 0.33, 0.6666, and this guy goes back to red. Because then we get a perfect loop, and we can animate this, like having this actually animated and moving. So as we look through it, it's going to give us ourselves a little bit of this move. Just to get us a little bit of that shape. But yeah, this is a super cool way to make bubbles. Just gonna thin it out a little bit, and then let's animate the motion path moving a little bit faster. Make sure that's linear. And then instead of 300, maybe we'll do like 100 frames. We've got something that kind of like so it's really cheap, easy way to make bubbles. Because you can just instance that, and then yeah, cool beans.